You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Mr. Mo Kelly, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and it's time to find out what the hell is up with Nick Pagliochini. As a matter of fact, Nick, where the hell were you last week?
I apologize that I wasn't here because I hate missing Tuesdays. It's always on my calendar to be a good time. But last week, if you were following me, Nick Pagliochini, this week I'm with Nick on Instagram, you saw that I was at 90s night over at the Disneyland Resort inside of Disneyland Park. So it was a fantastic time. And this is something that I always want to push people to attend. And the only reason I say that is I did Sweethearts Night. That's great. I did 90s Night. It was epic. We've got Star Wars Nights coming up in April and May.
Hey.
So I'll have more details about that in the coming weeks here. But if you want to find a time to go to Disneyland Park and get on every single attraction with walk-ons and everything else, the party itself is 4 hours. You get to go in 3 hours ahead of time, so it's called the mix-in time period. And even though the ticket price for that event is slightly higher than a regular one-day admission, you're going to get to go on all the attractions that you don't normally get on easily without the multi-lane pass or the what used to be called lightning lanes. So it's a really good value, even though it's a little bit higher price point for you to go in if you're not super into the theme. All the things are open. So if you want to do all the things at Disney, especially Disneyland Park, that's a great opportunity. So that's why I say that's a huge, kind of a inside scoop. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive. I get that than a regular one-day admission, but I'm not kidding you. If you want walk on to Haunted Mansion or Pirates of the Caribbean or Space Mountain, any of those things, you're able to do it. The only thing that I've noticed, and it will be different when we go to Star Wars Night, but Rise of the Resistance was not open for those nights. But you were able to do Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run without a problem. So if you want to go back to Batuu and go off planet and enjoy Black Spire Outpost, that's always an option for you.
Is there anything that you have not done at Disneyland Park?
Yes, and it's mostly because of the price point. And that's, I think, something that we all encounter. The thing that I would love to do, which is kind of on my bucket list, it is called Royal 21. It is a special 5 to 8 hour experience. I believe it's 14 courses. It is $15,000 for a party of 12. And it is based above Pirates of the Caribbean in what was supposed to be, or was originally planned to be, Walt Disney's apartment inside the theme park. So we all hear about the fire station on Main Street and the light that's there that represents him, and that was his apartment, but the Disney family apartment is what was supposed to be above Pirates of the Caribbean. So when the family was there with him, they would be able to go, and when his daughters were there, they'd be able to stay there. It never opened for that, but right now it is set up to be that. And during the Year of a Million Dreams, you could win an overnight experience in there. It has transitioned to be being part of Club 33, which is that special club within inside the park.
And you've been to Club 33?
I've been to Club 33. I used to work at Club 33 back many days ago. So one of my things before I came to radio, I worked for the Walt Disney Company from 98 through 2003. And one of my roles specifically was working with the reservation system for Club 33 members.
Is it like Fight Club where you're not allowed to talk about it?
There's a lot of that. 100%. But I think it's a little different now because there's so much available. Because before it was, you didn't have as much information out there. Now you can go on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, any of that, and you can find so much about Club 33.
Did you have to sign an NDA?
I have not for Club 33. For other events and activities at Disney, very likely.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. You're right. But that's where I was last week. And before we jump really into it, I know we're kind of blowing through it. I have a treat for you from Crumble.
Hey.
Crumble Cookies. So CRUMBL here in Burbank. And this is specifically for you. Now, if you know, you know.
Does it have black olives on it?
There are no black olives, but it may be black in color. Thank you, Stefan. That was a good one. But this is for you. The National Dessert of the Month for Crumble Cookies nationwide is your absolute favorite. So this box here is for you.
I hope you didn't get it wrong.
No. This box here is for you.
I'm reaching for the box.
So the box itself is going to be a cookies and cream brownie.
It's cookies and cream. I don't care what it is. If it's cookies and cream, it's right.
So now I did enjoy from the Crumble crew. We've got all the flavors for Later with Mo Kelly team
it smells
to try.
So good.
but that one's just for you. So I'm going to call that the National Flavor of the Month from Crumble Cookies. Just for Mo Kelly is going to be the cookies and cream brownie. But I've got a whole lineup of, in fact, like we talked about, and I do have a correction to make, but key lime pie is going to be available through Pie Day over at Crumble Cookies, at least locally here in Southern California. They've got salted caramel cheesecake. They've got Rocky Road, pink donut, if you think about like from The Simpsons, the pink donut kind of style. And then also a Kentucky butter cake. So I've got that to share with the whole crew.
Kentucky butter cake.
Stefan, Mark, T, when you can, come in.
No,
it's all here in the studio.
No.
Okay.
He was talking to
There's no anchovies
You
on
just
this.
try to stop me.
I was going to say.
Do not put yourself between me and free food ever.
But so that's it. So that's kind of the treat because
That's enough.
As we bring it, as we've talked about many times, I'm kind of the orange slices and Capri Suns for the team here at Later with Mo Kelly. So this would be this week's introduction. So thank you to the kids over at Crumble greatly over on Magnolia.
Oh
here.
yes, we
Hollywood Way and Magnolia, right there across from Porto's, which is another one of our favorites. But that's where all the goodies are coming from. So all right, jumping into what's going on with me, I want to talk about something that is really exciting, and it's something that I did not know a whole lot about, and I was able to talk with the executive director, Lou Spisto, who is in charge of the Gay Men's Chorus of Los Angeles. And they, this weekend, will be having, or actually, I take that back, on the 22nd and 23rd, they will have Rhinestone Cowboys, which is a huge performance that you're able to attend at Saban Theater over in Beverly Hills, if you're familiar with that venue. Great venue. But the thing that was so cool to talk with Lou is we're in such an unusual time period right now. And, we've talked about DEI on the show. And this is something I had no idea. But the Gay Men's Chorus of Los Angeles, the only thing they care about is if you can sing. And if you can do tenor 1, tenor 2, baritone or bass. Is a very inclusive. They have had straight men, straight women, transgender, non-binary, the whole 9 yards. But they put on these epic performances. It's usually 2 a season. This one is going to be Rhinestone Cowboys, and then they usually do one in the summer, which I think is going to be Dancing Queen, and then they always do a holiday show. So it's a great opportunity. They're a fantastic organization. 200 local performers. They have 5 or 6 different dance numbers that are actually choreographed by some of the people that are behind So You Think You Can Dance and some of the other different performances here in LA. But the bigger thing is it's going to be their 46th year, and they are hugely into education, music, and performance and everything else. So their biggest focus is always on community engagement. And they will also be doing a special intro specifically for the fire victims. So there you have a special song, and they're going to be doing a special performance to honor all those that are here in LA. So that's something, again, that's coming up on Saturday the 22nd and Sunday the 23rd. I will be there, but you can also get details about this at the link in bio at Nick Pagliochini or This Weekend with Nick on Instagram. And I will also be sharing a little bit more. In fact, I have a tease, and this is from Matt, producer Matt here at KFI, who is a huge Shania Twain fan.
Really? I didn't know that.
Huge Shania Twain. Oh, dude.
Really?
You got to go to
Massive.
See, thank you, Stefan.
How did I miss that?
No, Matt, if you're listening by chance, I don't mean to out you, but if you go to his Instagram, he's met her innumerable times to the point that I swear he is her illegitimate son, whatever. Like, it's wild to me because he has been all over the world to see Shania Twain. He took Michelle Cube at one point.
Man.
Like, so I don't know. I know.
Feel like a woman.
Yeah, exactly. So what's funny, I will have a tease of Man, I Feel Like a Woman performs. Thank you very much. Yeah. That was good. I love it. But the Gay Men's Chorus of Los Angeles was wonderful to share one of the rehearsals with me of Man, I Feel Like a Woman. So you can see
about that tie-in?
That's a great tie-in. So anyway, that's what that is. And do you want to jump into what's next, or what do you feel?
We need to go to a break.
Sounds
good.
good.
We'll come back and we'll talk a little more with Nick Pagliochini. Oh, and Mark needs to get some food.
I was like, Mark needs some food.
I'm going to hurry with this so I can get in there and get it.
Okay, good.
All right, KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere at iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Nick Pagliochini, he is my friend for life because he brought me this cookies and cream crumble cake that is to die for. Nick, you want to finish up the show? What do you need? You need $5
I can do
for
it.
Me? I mean,
whatever you need.
Okay, you need me to go get you some food, back rub, because this is great.
Give him a front rub. These cookies are terrific.
Thank you, Mark. I don't know about that. We have to wait till after 10 for that. But after you talk to George. So we talked about it. Crumble cookie, the national flavor of the month, I'm going to say is the Later with Mo Kelly brownie in my book, but it's a cookies and cream brownie. So you can check that out from Crumble Cookies. Again, thanks to the crew over at the location here in Burbank at Hollywood Way and Magnolia. So check them out. One thing that I did talk about earlier today, or earlier in the show, that I do want to do a quick correction. Lori's Pie Bar in Long Beach. I said it was the first 50 customers get a slice of pie, the key lime pie. It is not it's not a slice of pie. You get a free key lime pie shot. And when it is, she does these great, tastings of all the different pie flavors that come in little shot glasses. So that would be that. Also buy 5 slices of pie, and the 6th one is on the house. And then also cutie pie jars, which have no crust, but they're really, really good. And I know that there's a couple that are gluten free. If you purchase 6 cutie pie jars, so they're little mason jars, you get a free tote. So that is me. Lori's Pie Bar is in Long Beach. It is on Pine Avenue around 4th. You can find out more details at Nick Pagliochini or This Weekend with Nick on Instagram. But I want to take you to Orange County for this next one. And I'm very excited because Tyler Matthew Burke and Tristan Schuler, 2 friends of mine who I talked about on Later with Mo Kelly when I was doing This Weekend with Nick for Lacage Live here in Hollywood at the Roosevelt. They will be actually a part of a really incredible concert that's available at the Segerstrom Center for the Arts in Costa Mesa this Saturday. And it's going to be Rent, in concert. So Rent, which is a Broadway musical, is a film. Yes. You look.
I was getting ready to sing, but go ahead.
No, segue. What do you want?
I can't. What's the song? Da 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 da.
So 525,600 minutes.
There it is.
So that is the unofficial, lullaby of Broadway, but the unofficial anthem of Broadway. In fact, you can see, I believe it was the cast of Aladdin just did it, or one of the major shows that's on Broadway just performed it. But this special concert version is going to celebrate Jonathan Larson's iconic rock opera featuring a live symphonic orchestra and then this cast of characters. Now, I've got those 2 guys that I've known for a while, but there are so many people, and it's going to cover Seasons of Love, so 525,600 minutes, La Vie Boheme, Take Me or Leave Me, and Light My Candle. It is a 1 performance only this Saturday, and so that's when we get to that last call. Definitely not free $99, but relatively inexpensive because it only is $31 is the starting price for tickets for that. It's not completely sold out, but I would highly encourage you to check it out. You can always visit Segerstrom online, or you can check out the link in bio again at Nick Pagliochini and This Weekend with Nick. And the last thing I want to talk about is some of the things that you can do for St. Patrick's Day. So don't forget, this is the weekend of St. Patrick's Day. And in fact, I'm decked out, and you'll see pictures of me on social media coming to the show tonight in all the green, including my sunglasses that show up on Instagram. But there's so much happening this weekend that it'll be celebrating St. Patrick's Day, which is on Monday. So that is something for you to check out. If you're looking for something in downtown LA, Grand Central Market will be having this Saturday at 1:00 the St. Patrick's Day Bar Crawl and Block Party. Tam O'Shanter, if you're familiar with that is a very well-known Disney tie-in because it used to be where Walt Disney and a lot of the Imagineers would eat, and they also have decorated it. So the original Imagineers, Tam O'Shanter, which is going to be up in LA, or is in LA. On Monday, you can go. They'll have special food, drinks, a live VIP experience, which I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure I'll be passing that along to you on social media. Also, if you're looking for something to get outside, depending on how the weather is this weekend, Hermosa Beach St. Patrick's Day Parade will be happening in Hermosa Beach. And then if you're looking for maybe, green beer, Angel City Brewery St. Patrick's Market will be happening this Saturday. And then if you want to get out of town, I got places to go down in San Diego, Point Loma, Pacific Beach, you name it. There's so much happening this weekend all across the Southland. So you've got a lot of opportunity to get out there and enjoy yourself, both this week and throughout the weekend.
And when do you sleep? I'm sorry?
I don't. And I think what's funny is not being here in the mornings with Wake Up Call and the Bill Handel Show, you'd think I would sleep more. While I may not sleep, I may not be up at 3:30 in the morning like I used to be, I am still up first thing, and I am pounding the pavement throughout the Southland.
Are you naturally a morning person on some level?
No. In fact, my joke was always, for at least a decade with iHeart, I was paid to be a morning person. That's the only reason I showed up. Mm-hmm. Later with Mo Kelly, this is the time slot that would be fantastic for me. So for the powers that be, the listening, if Mo ever needs a fill-in, I got you.
We will always have you here anytime.
Thank you, sir.
And since you brought me this cookies and cream crumble cake. You can come back next week or something for
Oh,
me.
I appreciate it. In fact, I was talking to T, and with Pie Day being this Friday, I might even pop in on Friday with a couple of treats for you to share.
All right, just don't bring any for Mark.
I promise.
Okay,
Plenty of olives for everyone.
Well, I was
Nick.
going to say, I will bring green and black olives and a tin of
Just
the
for
best
Mark.
anchovies or the best sardines or whatever you want.
He eats it all.
I love it.
But he'll eat that, but he won't try chitlins once. That's what I don't understand.
Oh, look at the clock.
KFI AM 640.
We got time. What are you talking about
no,
there,
no, no.
Mark?
No,
I got like 90 seconds left.
We're
You
up
can hold
against the
on.
clock. We got to go.
Can you see like the contradiction there?
The chitlin clock is ticking.
Should we let him off the hook?
No, not here.
Okay, well,
not
all right,
on this show.
Mark, how do you reconcile?
I don't. We have to go.
Wow.
Lee?
Just a wall. There will be no chitlins.
All right.
Okay. I guess that's the end of the segment.
I was going
I
to say,
will,
well, thank you very much for ending us on a high note there, Mark.
No, I'm going to hire a chitlin security detail for you guys. This is not going to happen.
You wanted to be fully black, and I said you have to once eat them.
Well, you don't have to haze me, Mr. Frat Boy.
I'm
I
not
don't.
hazing you. Look, if I was going to haze you, I'd just put it in your food and not let you know.
Oh, I think I'd know.
Here's all I got to say is we've got enough people out there. If you have a delicious chitlins recipe, we need you to reach out to Tawala or to Mo and
Cut him off. Foosh. Cut him off.
No, Foosh, you can't cut me off.
I'll just keep talking.
There we go. It's a tag team in here.
Yeah, we just need him to try it once. Just once.
Just once. Just once.
Alrighty, you done?
All right.
When we come back, there are a huge number of people who admit that they're okay with their partner hooking up with a robot.
Say what?
You want to stay around for this?
Oh,
thing?
you better believe I'll be here.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And a huge number of people would be okay with, they'd be cool with their partner, and it doesn't distinguish spouse or significant other, but their partner hooking up with a robot. And there are a lot of facets to this poll, but it's interesting in that particular item. So let me go right there. In this poll, more than a third of Gen Z respondents admitted to using ChatGPT to combat feelings of loneliness, and 14% would prefer to confide in an AI chatbot about personal issues rather than their partner. However, 2 out of 5 people would view it as infidelity if their partner was intimate with a sex robot modeled after them. First, having a sex robot modeled after you personally, that's kind of weird. That's really weird. And it's exceptionally weird that you think it would be cheating if your partner had sex with a robot modeled after you.
Yeah, that's well, and I'm going to be very careful in choosing my words here,
As
but
you should be.
there are kits that you can clone portions of your body,
Okay.
and that has been encouraged as a relationship enhancer, if you will.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So, if said mimic android or whatever we're going to call, I don't
Life
want to
model decoy.
Right, I was going to say we don't want to say Data from Star Trek, but if it had the trappings of said long existing
He said long.
activity, would it be, or would it, I don't see how that is.
See, the thing is, the whole idea of a robot has evolved over the years. Because a robot, when we were growing up, could have been anything that, like a toy that moved around.
Well, I mean, even let's go kids. Look at Big Hero 6 from Disney. It's exactly what you're describing.
Right. That's a robot. And when you're talking about sex, as far as I'm concerned, if you put a smiley face on a vibrator, does that count?
Right.
It's a rhetorical question, but the whole idea of a robot
Correct.
in place of a person is going to evoke different ideas in different people.
Exactly. Because I've seen many apparati,
Slow down.
if
Slow
you
down.
will. No, I know. But I'm saying I'm very familiar with many apparati that could easily be constituted as this item per se.
I don't know and I can't speak for women, and thank goodness there are no women in this conversation because I know they're probably cussing us out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it would be cheating if the whole idea is I look at it as self-pleasuring.
No, and I agree. And it goes back to that ChatGPT component that you were talking about, that if there are people today that are more comfortable confiding in an AI-based program, okay, now we're talking emotions as opposed to physical necessarily.
But it's not a betrayal. I don't see it as a betrayal because it's not like you've taken these vows and then you're having sexual relations with the refrigerator.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden, like Will Smith said in iRobot, it's just lights and clockwork.
Right.
I don't know how that actually then qualifies as a person in and of itself. Now, if it becomes self-aware, then we have a different conversation.
Well, and like you just said, if said robot embodies your neighbor rather than your significant other, okay, now we got a different ballgame we're talking about.
But is it, but again, it goes back to a previous conversation. Is that actually cheating because you're not conspiring with a third party to deceive your partner? I think there has to be a human element for it to be cheating. I mean, unless, never mind, I don't want to say that on here.
Now, okay. Yes, but.
One or two T's.
Make it two, baby. To Nick's point, if it was AI, how would you know if you were talking to someone, say online, if you were flirting, whether it's AI or not? And some people do get bent out of shape if you are talking online with someone. And if you say, but babe, this is AI. This isn't an actual woman. I'm on here talking to a robot that's telling me the things that I want to hear, that's talking nice to me after work, that's telling me I look good, this, that, and the other. Is that cheating? Because then are you putting emotional stock into this relationship with this artificially sentient being?
See, that's the difference between, and I'm going to generalize men and women. Men, by and large, look at cheating as a physical act.
Right. No,
that we
that
must do this, that, and the other to constitute cheating. Where a woman, most women, generalizing, I know, get mad at me later, is an emotional act.
Yeah.
Where you could be texting with someone or sexting with someone and engaging in an emotional repartee, which is considered a betrayal of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. And see, look, I dated a young lady who had a rose. Ladies, you know what a rose is. And she loved her rose. She really, really did. And I had no problem with, look, she lived far away. I had no problem with her utilizing her rose. Hey, the rose works. Is that cheating? I said, no.
One of my last relationships before I got married, she had machinery, gadgets,
technology,
technology, as opposed to just other things.
A handheld. She had
actual. It wasn't analog. It was digital.
It was digital.
Right.
Okay? Yes, it's motorized.
Right. Of course.
Motorized.
Right.
It didn't bother me because I don't think it was being used as a way to deceive me.
No.
I just didn't see it as cheating. I think it has to involve a person.
But I think, too, what you both have said specifically with this person that you were dating, T, you were aware of what was transpiring with said Rose.
Yeah.
Mo, you were...
I didn't care. I mean,
right.
If I opened a drawer one day, Oh yeah, that's my friend. He had a name for it and everything.
See, but
they do.
But see, they do. But no, it's funny. No. But that's actually a really good point because now you're giving, and then not sentience to this activity, but you're actually naming an inanimate object. So are you applying some unique emotional connection to it as well?
I named my car, but
sure,
and it has a motor as well. And it lets me ride it, but it's not sexual. It's not cheating.
Right. But you're going to feel real bad if that gets in a car accident. Yeah. You might shed a tear for said.
Maybe.
Especially if the body gets dented.
Right. And your car looks real good.
That's a nice ass.
It
nice
does.
Ass.
Yeah.
Big backyard.
Have you noticed that Mark never participates in these conversations?
The funnier part of that is, though, if you could see his facial expressions, because we can. This is the only thing. You are so lucky.
He will not join in.
That's one of those true. In fact, I was going to point out that you could almost say there's a slippery slope here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just remember his face was nothing but judgment.
Right.
Well, of course, and I have naturally am not enough of a pervert to know what a rose is. Whatever it is.
Oh no!
Okay.
It
You've
sounds
never heard of a rabbit?
It
Mark?
sounds offensive and repellent, but we know that these.
Don't mess around and find one.
No. I'm locking the door to the news booth. We know that people use items to achieve certain goals. And so Mo mentioned, I think, drawing a face on it. I mean, at some point it gets weird, but at no point would you want somebody to walk in on you using it, right?
I think that's a different discussion. I mean, what people do privately and personally is what people do. And I always say people like what they like. It might be butter and Crisco and handcuffs. I don't know. But my point is it then a betrayal of the trust of your partner just because you have motorized assistance?
Or even more, because as you were talking about earlier, Nick, when you can customize,
Right.
And things like that. At the last electronic fair in Vegas, they debuted some new advancements on the sex bots, and you can, custom sculpt faces of whatever. You can go in and design a face. These things are looking more and more and more like people, and I think that's where this discussion comes from. It's not necessarily the manual technology that we have now. These are fully autonomous beings or fully autonomous devices that move on their own, that can talk. You can program dialogue into these things. Their eyes move, their mouths moves, and things like that. And I think that this is what this is getting to, in that as these things become more and more available to the public for purchase. Right now, these things are very expensive, but the price is coming down because the demand is going up, and the makers of these are saying, hey, we can make more money. Is there an argument to be had that if you step it up to that level, is it cheating? If you have a full-bodied robot, is it cheating? And it's still a machine. So I say no.
Well, if someone else is working the controls, then maybe it's cheating.
But see, if they're autonomous and if they're running themselves, because just what T said, specifically CES in Las Vegas, we've covered it here on KFI.
CES, yes.
Right. No, we've covered it on KFI in the last couple of years. They literally have strippers that are completely
robot strippers.
Robot strippers.
Yeah, absolutely. Robot strippers. And no joke, I saw those things. They shake it. They drop it like it's hot.
They do.
Robots. Mo, you've been to the club. I promise you, you see one of these stripper bots, you're going to say, well, damn, that looks just like Homeward. They used to be at the... Okay, never mind.
I know George Norris, like, I hate them.
He can't wait to get on the phone.
I hate every one of them, especially that Mo Kelly. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, hopefully George Norris will be there. We'll talk about what's coming up on his show, and also I'll have my final thought.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mo Kelly. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, coast to coast AM with the George Norrie. Good evening, sir.
Hello, Mr. Kelly. How's everybody doing out there?
We're having a good time. I don't know where you are right now, but we have a big rainstorm coming in tonight.
I'm in LA. We'll be careful.
Absolutely.
Tonight on the show, we're going to talk about lost civilizations and then angels on Coast to Coast.
All right. I'll be checking you out.
All right. Thanks.
See you soon. And for my final thought tonight, I was really taken back by the news of what is happening with the Department of Education. So let me go there tonight. Both of my parents were educators for the entirety of their career on the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. They took out a second mortgage on the family home to make sure my sister and I could attend college. My sister went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. I went to Georgetown University, also in Washington, D.C. My father was the first in his family to ever attend college. Education was always the priority in my household, and it is something I have always carried with me. But I know that my value of education is not shared by many Americans these days. But let's talk about this from 30,000 feet up, as they say. In 2023, South Korea's spending on education reached 7.2% of GDP, and that exceeds the average of 5.7% and ranks second highest in the world. Japan dedicates only 4.1% of its GDP to educational institutions. And although the spending is well below average, the focus within the country is top tier. In 2024, last year, the United Kingdom spent approximately 4.1% of its GDP on education, also well below the global average of 5.7%. That's really important. Put a pin in that as well. Last year, 2024, the U.S. spent 5.59% of our GDP on education, just below the average of 5.7%, but far more than Japan and the United Kingdom. As for overall rankings of educated populations in the world, that expenditure of those various countries translates as follows. The U.S., without a doubt, is the wealthiest nation in the world, and we can't even break the top 30 in terms of educated populace. We're number 31. Korea, number 1. And they're number 1 just 72 years after the Korean War. Japan, remember, they only spent 4.1% of their GDP. They're number 6, 80 years after the end of World War II and having to pay reparations to other countries up until 1977. That's within my lifetime. United Kingdom, number 12. And just in case you're curious, China is 13, Canada is 14, France is 16, Israel, 21. Russia is 22. Hungary is 30. And we're 31. Here's my point. There are Asian countries, European countries, North American countries, small countries, large countries, war-torn countries, wealthy countries, impoverished countries. For example, California's GDP is almost twice that of Russia. Russia's population is 3.5 times that of California. But somehow, Russia managed to beat the United States by 9 slots when it comes to education. My point tonight is rather simple. It's not money per se. It's not wealth of a nation. It's not size of a nation, just importance of education to a nation. Spend some time in Korea. You'll see how important education is in every facet of life. Then it starts to make sense how education directly benefits the rest of society. There's a direct correlation between education, level of crime, health, and general welfare. Spend some time in the U.S. and you'll see how little we value it relative to defense spending, health care, and other items. The idea of American exceptionalism is the belief that the United States is either distinctive, unique, or exemplary compared to other nations. When it comes to education, we're not, and we haven't been for quite some time. And since we're not the technological leaders we once were either. We don't make the best cars. We don't make the best semiconductors, just for example. We shame or try to shame those with education today as somehow being elitist, like it's a scarlet letter or some badge of shame. More evidence of that today with the news that about half of the Department of Education was gutted today, with some 1,300 employees being let go. According to most published reports, the cuts will all but incapacitate the agency in its efforts to distribute billions in federal money to colleges, schools, and manages the federal student loan portfolio. Oh, nothing bad could come of that, right? Well, in short, it would likely cripple our educational infrastructure in many ways. No preceding forensic audit, no scalpel to these cuts, just a chainsaw while blindfolded, indiscriminate. Because the Department of Education evidently has no value to America in 2025. And there will be a hefty price because of it. And no amount of firings will make enough room in which to afford it. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't let KFI fill you in once in a while, you could miss it.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Ever wake up feeling lousy, knowing something is off with your body? You don't have time for guesswork. You need Viome. Forget all the generic health fads. Viome doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It tells you what's actually going on inside your body. By analyzing your gut microbiome, Viome delivers a custom health plan that's as unique as your DNA. It's science, not nonsense. Want energy? Want better digestion? Viome has your back. Stop trusting amateurs. Go to Viome.com for a personalized gut professional now. Call StarStar Gut to get $110 off any test. That's StarStar 488 to receive a link to the offer.